What is productive conflict? Besides a workshop and an assessment that I facilitate, productive conflict is this whole idea that conflict can be a very positive thing in any team because it brings about everyone's collective knowledge and opinions and gets the juices flowing and the best ideas on the table so that the best decisions can be made. However, conflict can be considered negative. And how can we flip that script? How can we kind of work on the destructive aspects of conflict and use the positive behaviors of conflict that are productive to get better results? So here's where it stems from. We all have a personality type. We all have priorities, as well as this whole other part of us that, this whole other, pie, where we have these belief systems, and these belief systems create automatic thoughts. So what happens is we have an interaction, and that interaction sparks an instant thought. It just pops into our head, and it's based on all this history of who we are. And we react from that automatic thought. So the whole idea of the self-development work of productive conflict is taking a step back, having that automatic thought, understanding that's just a first draft, reframing it. What does this truly mean that when this happened, rather than what I made it out to be? And now react and interact based on a new truth, a new thought. So it's the idea of you walk out of a meeting and you say to your boss, wow, that was great. And she goes, mm-hmm, and walks away. Okay, your immediate thought based on the fact that your family, creates a choreographed cheer every time somebody, brought home a ribbon, was that she must be really upset with the way that meeting went. Or she hates me. Or I'm going to lose my job. Or all these crazy things that pop into our head. And so then we react from that, which cannot be our best selves. And what we could do is stop and go, okay, what's true? She just said, mm-hmm. Maybe she's having a tough day. Maybe there's 1,000 things on her mind. Maybe she's running late. Now that I know the truth, rather than the perception of the truth, the first draft that I wrote in my head, now what can I do? Maybe call her and say, hey, are you okay? I felt like when we left that meeting, you were a little off. Were you okay with how that went? Or is there anything I can do? How much more proactive and helpful is that interaction than I'm going to lose my job. I got to start working on my resume and sending things out and that was an exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. And then so that's the first possibility of personal development that can happen with the productive conflict model. The next is really looking at, we all have intrinsically, we have these natural, healthy, productive conflict behaviors. What can be very, very beneficial is, for me as an SI, mine is collaboration. And so when I get into conflict, I can be very receptive and open up and really want to hear everyone's opinions and keep my mind open to what they may be thinking. That's productive in conflict. However, we all have destructive conflict behaviors that come naturally. Mine happens to be, I do not like conflict naturally. I like harmony and everyone to get along. And so I can tend to shut down and back off and want to step away from whenever conflict is going on. Whenever there's a heated debate, it doesn't feel good to me and I want to shut it down. And as a leader, that can be very destructive because I can say, okay, let's not talk about that now. And now the one thing this company needs to talk about more than anything else is being shut down. That's destructive. So that's the other thing productive conflict looks at, is sort of what are your natural strengths in conflict, and what can be your go-tos when cross the line, and what makes you cross that line. What is it that when that shows up, you go from being productive and using your strengths to the destructive side. And so when you create that awareness, now you can start to notice, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to reframe my thoughts and do this a little differently. It's extremely beneficial, and I suggest it to anyone. Have a great day.